So now that I'm ready and we're recording, let's start our discussion for today. Just a review, last meeting we discussed that there are two classifications of noise. If you remember, what are these two major classifications of noise? Yes, Mr. Tadeya, come on.
Correlated noise po and uncorrelated noise po.
Yes, very good. The correlated and uncorrelated noise. Tama ang iyong sagot. Ngayon, who would like to distinguish between these two? What's the difference between correlated and uncorrelated noise? Anyone? Geraldine Manalo is recognized.
Pag correlated po, only present lang po siya kapag may signal. Tapos yung uncorrelated naman po, present po siya with and without signal po.
Exactly, very good. Kapag kaganyan kayo, mag-respond, masaya ang ating meeting. Okay? Ngayon, pagdating sa correlated noise, ano ang dalawang halimbawa na na-discuss natin? Who can give these two examples of correlated noise? Sinong makakapagbigay ng halimbawa? Si Alexa na lang. Alexa, turn on the lights.
Intermodulation distortion po at saka harmonic distortion po.
Yes, intermodulation, distortion, and harmonic distortion. Very good. Anong pagkakaiba ng dalawa? Anong pinagkaiba ng intermodulation distortion and harmonic distortion? Yes, Alexa again.
Yung intermodulation po ay unwanted cross product po, which means sum and difference of fundamentals po kung hindi po ako nagkakamali. And harmonics po ay unwanted harmonic, which is the multiple of fundamentals po.
Yes, nga naman. Yan ang mga gusto ko mga estudyante ba? Yung may ano ga, may sense of responsibility. Diba? How about uncorrelated noise? Magbigay naman kayo ng halimbawa ng uncorrelated noise na ating na-discuss. Cheryl, ang hindi nagpapatalo at hindi nagpapaawat.
Sa uncorrelated noise po is may external noise and internal noise.
Yes. Tapos
sa external noise po, meron pong industrial or man-made noise, atmospheric noise, or space noise or extraterrestrial noise. Sa internal noise naman po, meron pong thermal noise, shot noise, transit time noise, at saka flicker noise.
ang galing, nakakatuwa, amazing grace. Alam mo kahit nagbabasa siya, at least may binabasa siya. 'Di ba? Marunong mag-take down ng notes. Ganyan ang mga gusto ko. Anyway, moving on. Na-discuss ko na last meeting, I brought you to outer space. I introduced to you the noise created by some cosmic entities like quasars and pulsars. Diba? The noise created by the sun, which we call solar noise. Nagkakaroon ng sporadic noise due to excessive activities which peaks every 11 years. That is known as the 11-year solar cycle. No? Every solar maximum, there is unexpected drastic activities on the surface of the sun which affects communication systems here on Earth. The first communication systems affected are actually satellites. The signals are disrupted. They can even be physically damaged by the radiation coming from the sun. Okay? Now let's talk about internal noise. No? Internal noise is a type of noise that's generated within the device or circuit. No? Now, internal noise is produced by both active and passive components and even by the conducting wires. Why? Because these components all have electrons in them, and the random motion of electrons would lead to some extremely small voltage which we call noise voltage. Okay? So, even conductors themselves produce this type of noise. Because of course, we know that conductors have an excess, tremendously large number of free electrons, which move very randomly. Okay? Now, even active and passive components, meaning active devices like transistors produce internal noise. But not only active devices, even resistive components, even passive components like resistors, they also produce internal noise. Now, what are some of the specific examples of internal noise? The primary example, which is the most dominant, is the thermal noise. Okay? Another one is called the shot noise. Still another one, we have the transit time noise, and lastly, we have the flicker noise. These are just some, no? But there are actually lots of other types of noise, and normally we name noises in terms of colors. That's why sometimes you will see online, no, when the topic is about noise, the topic of the title is the colors of noise. Why? Because these types of the various types of noise have different term, different names, and some are named according to colors. For example, pink noise, white noise, green noise, brown noise, red noise, etc. Okay? Ano yung red noise? Si Rudolph. Rudolph the red noise reindeer. Yeah. Naisip ko lang very randomly. Okay, now let's start discussing these types of internal noise one by one. Unahin natin yung thermal noise. Thermal noise, from the name itself, thermal, it has something to do with temperature. Hindi temperature, right? It's temperature. Say it again. Temperature. Very good. Okay, now it is called thermal noise because it is directly proportional to the absolute temperature of the surroundings. So that's it. The hotter the temperature, the more noise is produced. No wonder why we want our electronic circuits to be cooled down. No? That's one of the reasons why, for example, why does your laptop have to have these fans, no, built-in fans? There are lots of reasons why, lots of reasons, but one of these reasons is to ventilate the laptop in order to prevent overheating. Why? Overheating would lead to excessive amount of noise. That's one of the reasons why. Just one. There could be many other reasons. For example, your electronic devices could exhibit what you call thermal runaway. Okay? It has nothing to do with noise, but it could cause your diodes, your transistors, and your integrated circuits to malfunction because of what you call thermal runaway. Okay? So thus, therefore, if we cannot totally eliminate thermal noise, one way of mitigating or minimizing thermal noise is by reducing the temperature of the environment. Naintindihan po ba? Yes. Kaya gusto natin yung halimbawa, isang room na may mga radio equipment, yung aircon doon, 24/7 yun buhay. Halimbawa, yung base station ng SMART dito sa ating university, which is here in the engineering building, yun ay may aircon. Buhay 24/7, kaso matagal nang sira. Hindi ko lang alam kung naipagawa doon ng SMART. No? But I think there is also one there in the Steer Hub. Parang may base station din doon. So, SMART pays for the electrical consumption. Of course, we just host the equipment there. We have the facility, but of course, they provide for the payment. Now, it's essential that you cool down the room. Why? So that we will minimize the noise, no? That can potentially cause malfunctions among this radio equipment. Naintindihan po ba? So, what causes thermal noise? Thermal noise is caused by the random motion of electrons. But of course, we know that all electrons are always moving randomly. Wala namang electron na tamad eh. Wala namang electron na hindi gumagalaw. Lahat ng electron, gumagalaw yan. One time nga, dinalaw ko yung loob ng atom eh. Hiniram ko ang kapangyarihan ni Ant-Man and I went to the quantum world. When I was there, I didn't see any electron at all. You know why? Because these electrons move so fast. They move millions of meters per second. No? In a very tiny space, of course. That's just inside the atom. Gano'ng kaliit yung atom, Diyos ko. Ang diameter nun, picometer. To the negative 15 yun. Femtometer or picometer yun. Napakaliit nun. At gumagalaw yung electron ng millions of meters per second in that very extremely small space. Kaya kahit pumunta ka sa loob ng atom, hindi mo makikita ang mga electron. Kasi sobrang bilis nilang gumalaw. Naiintindihan po ba? Kaya sayang lang yung effort ko sa pagpunta sa loob ng atom. Hindi ko sila nakita. Now, due to this nature of movement of electrons, they move very randomly. Sometimes, we also call thermal noise random noise. So if ever you'll be hearing the term random noise, that's just the same as thermal noise. Now, so what produces thermal noise? All resistive components, even conductors themselves, they produce thermal noise. What else? As I have mentioned, it's temperature dependent and hence the name thermal. What else? How about the intensity of this noise? Is this noise targeting a specific range of frequency? Is it more severe at low frequency and less severe at higher frequencies? Or is it the opposite? Is this type of noise more severe at high frequencies and negligible at lower frequencies? The answer is no. Why? Because its effect is just the same. Whether you are at the low end of the spectrum or in the higher end of the spectrum. Why is that? Because the nature of this noise is that its intensity is well distributed uniformly throughout the usable spectrum. Meaning, for example, mineasure ko ang thermal noise sa bandwidth na 10 kHz. No? Sa mababang frequency. Okay? 10 kHz sa VLF. No? At 10 kHz sa UHF. No? Parehas lang ang makompute ko na noise power. Provided, same ang kanilang temperature. Uulitin ko ha. Halimbawa, mineasure ko ang noise power sa bandwidth na, sige, wag ng 10 kHz, maliit masyado, 100 kHz. Sa anong band? O, VHF. Okay? At mineasure ko siya, 100 kHz din ang bandwidth. Sa anumang band? Sa UHF. O, magkaibang bands yun ha. Pero same lang ang bandwidth. And assuming same lang din ang temperature, ang makukuha kong noise power density, parehas lang. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng equal distribution of noise intensity per hertz of bandwidth. And because of this behavior, tinawag siya na white noise. Ano po? Sir, ano namang kinalaman ng white? Ganito kasi yan. If we combine all colors of light, we form white light. In the same way that the intensity of thermal noise is uniformly distributed throughout the entire spectrum. Equally distributed. Now, so parang pinagsama-sama natin yung iba't ibang kulay ng liwanag, ang form, ang final outcome, nagkikulay puti. Kaya tinawag natin siya na white noise kasi yung distribution niya ay equal, no? Whether mataas ang frequency or mababa. For as long as same lang ang bandwidth. Okay? Yun po ang ibig sabihin nun. No. So how do we visualize this noise? If you if you look at the spectrum in an oscilloscope, no? Maglagay ka ng oscilloscope probe sa isang circuit na walang input voltage. No? Naka-turn on ang circuit, halimbawa sa amplifier. Yung amplifier, walang pumapasok na input. Pero yung circuit, may bias. Lagyan mo ng probe yung output. Makikita mo sa oscilloscope, may graph na maliit, extremely tiny voltage. You can adjust that in the settings of the oscilloscope to zoom in the waveform. And you'll see something like this. That is how thermal noise looks like, no, in the time domain. Yan, ganyan po ang itsura niya. This type of noise was first quantified by an engineer named Johnson at the Bell Labs. So that's why this noise is sometimes called Johnson noise in honor of this person. Okay? It's also called Brownian noise. Why? Remember the Brownian motion was discovered by Einstein. No? The random movement, even in pollen grains, suspended in water, you will see that these pollen grains move randomly in a motion called Brownian motion. No? So it was Brown who first described this phenomenon of random motion, which is also exhibited by electrons. And because of that, sometimes white noise is also called Brownian noise. Not brown noise, but rather Brownian noise. From the term Brownian motion. No? Okay. And also called Gaussian noise. Next. Sir, earlier you mentioned that we can measure the power of noise. Yes, I did. And that's our next topic. No? If we want to quantify thermal noise, then what quantity can we solve for? We can solve for the noise power. Okay? Of course, we know that the unit of power is, what's the unit of power? Watts. What is the unit of power? That's not a question. It's a statement. I said, what is the unit of power? Now, can you guess how many watts typically is the amount of noise produced by a circuit? Typically, can you give me an order of magnitude estimate? How many watts do you think is the amount of noise generated by a certain circuit? A certain resistor, for example. Isang resistor, mag-generate yan ng thermal noise. Sa tingin niyo, mga ilang watts ang mag-generate niyan? Can you give me an estimate? Mga ilang watts? Tingin niyo, anong unit ng prefix ng watts kaya ang kanyang napoproduce na noise? Kilowatts kaya? Milliwatts? What do you think? Go ahead, Cheryl.
Sir, sa tingin ko po, nanowatts.
Nanowatts. Di ba yung nano, parang maliit na tao? Kaya ang maliit na tao, nano. Kasi maliit yung nano. Yung nano, napakaliit, indicate something that is extremely small. Nano, to the negative 9. Imagine 1 meter. You divide that into 1 billion equal parts. 1 part of that is 1 nanometer. Okay? And still, yung to the negative 9 na yun, ay napakalaki. Kumpara sa noise na nag-generate ng isang resistor. Because in reality, a resistor can generate an extremely small, in the order of several femtowatts. Femtowatts is to the negative 15. Napakaliit po. So, what's the formula for finding the noise power? Here is the formula. It is proportional to the temperature and also to the bandwidth. Okay? So, the noise power is directly proportional to both the temperature and the bandwidth. Okay? So, in this formula, the temperature is in kelvins, is the absolute temperature. So, if you'll be using degrees Celsius, you'll get a wrong answer. Okay? Because in this formula, the temperature has to be in kelvins. Okay? Now, what is that temperature? That is the ambient temperature of the surroundings. No? Na kinalalagyan ng electronic system mo. Natural, yun yung temperature. Halimbawa, temperature ng component. Gaano kainit yung resistor. Something like that. No? Sir, paano pag walang nabanggit na temperature sa problem? Magandang tanong yan. Kasi, meron tayong rule of thumb na tinatawag. Kung walang nabanggit na temperatura, ibig sabihin nun, ang gagamitin mo ay room temperature. But of course, kilala natin ang mga author ng libro. Mga Amerikano, iyan. Sa kanila, ang room temperature, 17 degrees. Ayan. Kaya po sa mga libro, pag walang nabanggit na temperatura, 290 kelvins ang ginagamit. No? Pero of course, sa Pilipinas, hindi yan totoo. Alam natin, dito mabanas. No? Mga 30 degrees to 35 degrees ang temperaturang normal dito sa atin. Ano? Pero of course, alam ka naman ako magpa-ocean noon, di ba? Sino ba naman ako? Isang hamak na instructor sa BSU. Pero yun nga, kung susundin natin ang libro, parang mali. It's not very realistic. Kasi nga, yung mga author ng libro ay nasa abroad at malamig sa Amerika. Kaya ang ginagamit nila laging 290. Ay paano sir, pag-exam, sabihin ko, nasaan ka tayo? Sa Pilipinas. So for the sake of conformity, no, with the books, we will use 290. Kahit mainit sa Pilipinas. Okay? For the sake of conformity. Sige. Sir, may tanong me. Ano yun? Ano yung K sa formula? Kasi KTB. That is a constant called Boltzmann constant. I'm sure you're familiar with it already. Familiar na po ba kayo sa Boltzmann constant? Hello guys? Yes. What's the value? Can you recall? The value of the Boltzmann constant, K equals how much? This is an extremely small constant also. Napakaliit na value nito. This is 1.38
1.38 times
10.
10, negative 23.
Thank you, Angeline. To the negative 23. What is the unit of Boltzmann constant? Aber, the unit is joule per Kelvin. Okay? Tandaan mo, it's just a joke. Joke kasi joules per Kelvin. Now, apart from noise power, we can also calculate the noise voltage. Okay? The noise voltage. This can be derived, but of course, I'll spare you with the derivation and just present the formula. Okay? The formula for finding the noise voltage is equal to the square root of 4 kTBR. You can see, guys, inside the square root, mayroon tayong KTB. Ano ba yung nare-represent ng KTB? Di ba yun yung power? Yes. If we know the noise power, we can use it to solve for the noise voltage. The only required quantity is the resistance over which you're measuring the noise. Natural, kinakailangan alam mo, saang resistor mo ba minemeasure yung noise? Or gaano kalaki yung resistance ng component na nagpo-produce ng noise. Normally, these are resistors. No? And actually, some resistors are used to generate noise. They're called noise generators. Sara ka unwanted yung noise. Sometimes, gusto natin sa isang system magkaroon ng noise and we will convert that noise into something else. Okay? Like in the case of oscillators, no? Which are circuits that create or generate periodic waveforms. But as a matter of fact, the startup signal among these oscillators are noise voltages. Now, the tiny noise voltage is repeatedly amplified until it reaches a certain amount of level na nagiging signal na periodic. Kung gusto mo, pwede mo siyang gawing sine wave, pwede mong gawing square wave, or triangular wave, etc. So, in that particular circuit, no, called an oscillator, noise is essential because noise is the startup signal for the oscillation. Now, what if I have a series combination of resistors? What will be the total noise voltage for a combination of resistors in series? You don't simply add the noise voltages. If you're familiar with the Pythagorean theorem, yung may square root of the sum of the squares, it looks something like that. Okay? It's equal to the square root of the sum of the squares of the individual noise voltages. So here's the formula. So if there are two resistors that generate noise, the total noise voltage is the square root of Vn1 squared plus Vn2 squared. If there are 3, you add the third term. If there are 4, you add the fourth term. Total noise current, this is for parallel resistors. Kung parallel naman yung resistors, equal ang noise voltage nila. Natural, alam natin sa circuit analysis, parallel combination of resistors have equal voltages across, no? But kapag parallel, ang additive ay yung current. So same lang ang format ng formula. The total noise current is equal to the square root of the sum of the squares. Square root of the sum of the squares. Sir, do you have the formula for finding the noise current? Oh, wala tayong formula ng noise current na kagaya na re. Actually, if you know the voltage, you compute for the current using Ohm's law. IN is equal to VN over R. Bye! Bye! So, yung IN na yan na yun. No? Kung marami sila, i-add mo yung maraming IN yan. IN1 squared plus IN2 squared plus etc. Okay? Is that clear? Let us solve a problem. For an electronic device operating at 30 degrees Celsius with a bandwidth of 200 kilohertz, determine the thermal noise power in watts and in dBm. And the RMS noise voltage for a 100 ohm internal resistance and a 100 ohm load resistance. So, paano po natin ito i-solve? Madali lang, di dapat alam mo yung formula nung hinahanap mong quantity. Thermal noise power. Ano nga ulit ang formula ng thermal noise power? PN? Sabay-sabay.
Boltzmann constant po.
Tapos?
TB.
Nga naman. Okay. TB. Very good. Okay. So we have A, constant, 1.38 times 10 to the negative 23 times the temperature, 30 degrees daw. Oy, realistic, nasa Pilipinas. Oo, binago ko na. Ako naglagay niyan. So we have 30 plus 273. O, di ba? Times the bandwidth. Magkano ang bandwidth? 200. So 200 kilo is times 10 raised to 3. Would you like to calculate that? Kuha ang calculate, magpipindot kayo dyan, hindi kayo antukin. Ako din kukuha. So the answer is, tinan nyo napakaliit. Ayan o. 836, nakakaloka. Times 10 to the negative 18. Did you get the same value? 836. What's the prefix 4 to the negative 18? What's the prefix 4 to the negative 18?
Ato po.
Tama. Very good ka dyan, Iha. It's ato to the negative 18. So 836 ato. Kasi ato watt. AW. Okay? So ayun. May isa pang tanong in dBm. So we can expect something negative because of course this is extremely small. Negative ito in dBm. So in dBm, Pn equals 10 log of 836 times 10 to the negative 18 divided by 0.001. Kaloka. 10 log of 836 times 10 to the negative 18 divided by 0.001. Yes, exactly. So we have negative 120, napaka-jutyness, negative 120.8 dBm, an extremely small amount of power. How about the RMS noise voltage for a 100 ohm internal resistance and a 100 ohm load resistance equal? Ganito kasi yan guys, ang teorya is kapag ang resistances ay equal, if the internal resistance is equal to the load resistance, magkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na maximum power transfer. And from that condition na-derive yung formula natin kanina. Na ano nga po ang formula ng noise voltage? Kung inyong natatandaan. Sagot?
Yung square root of 4K TBR.
Tama. Yan. Square root of 4K TBR. So, since meron na tayong KTB, square root of 4. Ano nga yung KTB natin? 836 times 10 to the negative 18. Ang R na gagamitin natin, guys, 100 lang. Ano po? 100. Hindi 200, ha? Kasi yun po yung condition. No? Kung saan na-derive yung formula na ito. Kung equal ang resistance ng load at yung internal resistance ng noise generator, ang formula ng noise voltage ay ito. We use a calcu again. So the answer is 578.27. 578.27. Anong unit? Negative 9. So nano volt. Sa tingin niyo guys, sa tunay na buhay, alin ang mas madaling i-measure? Noise voltage or noise power? Sa tingin niyo, sa totoong buhay, alin ang mas practical at mas madaling i-measure? Noise power or noise voltage? According to Alexa, it's the noise voltage. Why do you think so?
Larger po siya. So, feeling ko po ay mas madali siyang ma-pick up po ng any measuring device.
Kung ako ay may measuring instrument, mas madaling ma-detect yung quantity na mas malaki kumpara doon sa maliit. Diba? It makes sense. Thank you for that. No? O diba? Nag-iisip si Alexa. Kasi siya ang voice command ni Google. Next problem. An RF amplifier has an input resistor of 8 kilo ohms and works in a frequency range of 12 to 15.5 megahertz. Calculate the RMS noise voltage at the input of this amplifier. O di ba? Napakadali. Again, sabay-sabay po nating sambitin. Ano ang formula ng noise voltage? Go!
Square root po ng 4K TBR po. Or pwede po natin gamitin yung noise power in watts po if na-solve na po natin siya.
Labang-laban. Very good ka dyan. Sige, i-substitute na natin ang mga values for, yung K hindi ko na ilalagay ha, constant naman yun. Yung temperature, wala na bang ito temperatura? Ano ang sinabi ko kanina? Pag wala na bang ito temperatura, ano gagamitin?
Yung 290 Kelvin po.
Naman, 290 kelvins. K, T, B. Anong bandwidth?
Ano po, 3.5 megahertz.
Yes, kasi natural pag maminusin mo tong dalawa para makuha mo yung bandwidth. Okay? So 15.5 minus 12 is 3.5 kilohertz. So times 10 raised to 3. No, to the 6 because it's mega. Yan. KTBR. R na lang. Isa na lang ang kulang. RMS noise voltage. So pwede na natin yung kwentahin sa calcu yan. So the answer is 21.17 to the negative 6 microvolts. Okay, same ba kayo nang nakuha? Same lang. Thank you po. So moving on, next example. Two resistors, 100 ohms at 300 kelvins. And the other is 200 ohms, but at 400 kelvins. They are in series. So determine the total noise voltage and the noise power produced over a bandwidth of 100 kilohertz. Ano daw ang total noise voltage at ang noise power? Madali lang yan. Carry yan. Kunin muna natin ang individual noise voltages. Ano po? V and 1. Kasi dalawa yan eh. Square root of 4K. Anong unang temperatura? 300 kelvins, 4K T. B. Anong bandwidth niya? Parehas lang ngayon, no? 100 kilohertz. And then R is 100 ohms. And then for VN2, square root of 4K. The temperature is 400 kelvins, 80 B. The bandwidth is the same, 100 kilo. And the resistance this time is different. It's 200 ohms. So of course, with the use of our calculators, we can get the values of these noise voltages. So ang unang noise ay 407. Store A. 407.0 for nano watts. Next, we just edit this. Tanggalin lang natin yung ibang details kasi yung resistance naging 200. Ang bandwidth, parehas lang din. Ang temperatura, nagbago. 400 ari. Ayun. So, ang sagot, 664.69 nanowatts. So, ang gawin natin is, i-store natin yan sa B. Ayun. So, this time, gagamitin natin sila parehas. Kaya, ano pala ang total noise voltage? Square root of Vn1 squared plus Vn2 squared equals, 779. Amazing grace. 779 nanovolts.
Sir, voltage po yung unit po ng VN1 at VN2.
Oo nga. Sabi ko naman sa inyo, nakatulog ako. Salamat, Utoy, sa pagpapaalala ako yung nagkakamali. Na-appreciate ko yun. Thank you. So, yan ang sagot. Tama naman yung final answer. Okay? Maliit lang. Jutice. Nanovolts. Yan. Okay, sunod. Shot noise. Nasaan ang alak? Nasaan ang pulutan? Ito na. Mag-ingay. Shot noise. Ang shot noise, ang mekanismo niyan is kagaya halos ng thermal noise. The difference is the nature where they are generated. They are additive, by the way. Pero, kung ang thermal noise ay nag-generate sa mga resistive components, ang shot noise ay nag-generate sa mga active devices. Kagaya halimbawa ng transistor at ng diode. No? Sa mga semiconductor, yan. So, tandaan natin, kung ang thermal noise ay primarily napuproduce ng mga resistive elements even by conductors, because of course we know that conductors have resistances. Ang shot noise naman ay napuproduce ng mga semiconductor. Yan. Ba't siya tinawag na shot noise? Ganito kasi yan. Ang istorya is kapag yung shot noise ay iyong na-superimpose, na-combine mo sa audio signal. Tanggalin mo yung audio signal, ang maririnig mo parang nagpuputok ang baril. Yan. Kaya sa tinawag na shot noise. Because pagka napahalo siya sa audio signal, it sounds like shots from a gun. That's why it's called a shot noise. It's not a joke. Baka sabihin yung joke na naman yun, ha? Totoo yun. It's like thermal noise, pero magkaiba yung mechanism kung paano sila nag-generate. Yung isa sa mga resistive components, ito naman sa mga semiconductors. And just like thermal noise, it has equal energy per hertz of bandwidth, meaning uniformly distributed yung kanyang power density in the spectrum. Okay? It is caused by the random. Ayan the keyword is random. In the same way, white noise or thermal noise is generated by randomly moving electrons. So it's caused by the random fluctuations of the electric current at the output terminal of active electronic devices, particularly transistors. Transistors. Kaya minsan, tinatawag ang shot noise na transistor noise. Yan. So pag narinig niyo yung transistor noise, it also refers to shot noise. Okay? Sige. Shot noise current. Ito nako-compute, no? May nako-compute sa shot noise. Ano 'yun? Ang shot noise current. Ito ang formula, Yan. IN is the shot noise current. IDC is the DC current in the device. For example, we have a noise diode generator. No, it is a diode that acts as a shot noise generator. So we call it a noise diode noise generator. No, yun yung DC current sa diode. Okay, B is the bandwidth and Q is the charge of the electron, the electronic charge. So madaling tandaan, ayan ito ay beke. Ito ay beke. Sa madaling tandaan ang formula ng shot noise current kasi bading siya. Kasi ito ay beke. Tandaan nyo yan, ha? Of course, may square root. Huwag nyo kalimutan. So yung nakukuha natin current, RMS yan, ha? Parang yung sa voltage kanina. Yung noise voltage, RMS din po iyan. Okay? Sige, mag-solve tayo ng example. For a diode with a forward bias current of 1 milliampere over a 100 kilohertz bandwidth, determine the shot noise current. Ayan. So again, for the shot noise current IN, can you dictate the formula?
Square root
Sabay-sabay. Square root of?
2 multiplied by the DC current
Yes, that's correct.
multiplied by the bandwidth
Yes.
and the electron current.
Not electron current, but the electronic charge. Now, it's the charge of the electron. So, we now substitute the values. 2, what's the current? 1 milliampere. The bandwidth is 100 kilohertz. So, K. QE. We know that the charge of the electron is, baka hindi nyo alam ha, easy kayo, mahiya kayo, hindi nyo alam. What is the charge of an electron? Yan ang constant na hindi mo dapat makalimutan. Kasi electronics engineer ka. Anong charge ng electron? Sagot. Anong charge? Yung isa nag-google na. Hindi ba? Ang tagal ko na sinabi sa inyo. Sa electromag pa lang, sinabi ko na sa inyo, huwag nyo kakalimutan yan. So 1.6 times 10 to the minus 19 coulomb. Tandaan po. No? Si Chris Amor. Okay. So yan na yun. Ha? Tandaan po natin. So we have 5.66. No? 5.66 times 10 to the negative 9. So the shot noise current is 5 nano amperes. Yan. Naintindihan po ba? Nano amperes. Maliit din yon. Maliit lang. Kasi nga noise. Transit time noise. Ano naman yan? Ganito kasi yan guys. Ang transit time noise ay isang uri ng noise na present kapag mataas ang frequency. So, yan ang primary problem sa microwave communications. Of course, thermal noise is always there. No? Pero yung bida-bidang noise, pagdating sa microwave communications, transit time noise. Sir, ano yun? Madali lang ito. Ikukwento ko, makinig ka. Ang tawag dun sa time na kinakailangan, parang isang electron makatawid dun sa device. Ang tawag doon, transit time. O halimbawa, meron akong isang electron, tatawid siya sa resistor. Bago makatawid yung electron dun sa resistor, ilang nanoseconds yun. Yun ang kanyang transit time. Halimbawa, meron akong electron, no? Tatawid siya sa diode. Gaano katagal bago makapag-traverse yung electron dun sa buong diode? Yun ang kanyang transit time. Transit, di ba? When the earth is in transit, with the sun in background, you will see that the earth is moving, no, in front of the sun. Yun yung sinasabi natin na the transit of a planet, no? Kung saan ang sun ang background. Yon. O ano naman, bakit nagka-noise? Ganito kasi ang problema. Pag mataas ang frequency, alam natin, ang period ng signal ay napakababa. Because we know that the period is a reciprocal of frequency. Halimbawa, concrete example, at 2.4 GHz of frequency ng Wi-Fi, no? At 2.4 GHz, what is the corresponding period? O edi kwentahin mo, i-inverse mo yan. Ayan, no? Tingnan ninyo. That's 416, no? 416.7 picosecond. Nakakaloka. 416 picosecond. Diyos ko. Napakabilis na interval of time nun. Ano naman? Ganito yan. Ang problema ay lumalala kapag ang transit time ng electron ay nagiging malapit ang value sa period ng signal. Sa tingin niyo, gaano katagal bago makatawid yung electron sa isang electronic component? Halimbawa, diode. Sobrang bilis lang noon kasi ang bilis ng electron eh. Diba? Dumarating sa time na dahil mataas ang frequency, yung period ng signal, nagiging close ang value doon sa tinatawag na transit time. At pag yun ay nangyari, nagkakaroon ng transit time effects. Okay? Doon sa semiconductor material, nagkakaroon ng transit time effects na sa halip na ang electron ay dire-diretsong mag-travel, siya ay parang pasahero sa eroplano na nagkakaroon ng layover. Yun po yung tinatawag na transit time effect. Okay? So ano solusyon? Ang mag-a-adjust ngayon ay semiconductor device. Kasi hindi mo naman pwedeng palitan eh. Ay di huwag tayong gumamit ng 2.4 GHz. Gamit tayo ng mas mababang frequency. Hindi pwede. Bakit? Kasi yun ang designated for that particular application. So sino mag-a-adjust? Para hindi maging severe yung noise. Ang mag-adjust dyan is yung semiconductor device. O paano? Ano mangyayari? Gamit ka ng semiconductor device or material na mas mataas ang electron mobility. Para yung electron mas mabilis mag-travel and therefore yung transit time magkaroon ng agwat doon sa period ng signal. That is the reason why hindi gumagamit ng silicon sa microwave circuits. Ang ginagamit niyan, yung mga semiconductor devices na malaki napakababa ang electron mobility. Or mataas rather pala. Mataas ang electron mobility, meaning mas mabilis mag-travel yung electrons doon. Like gallium arsenide. Gallium arsenide is one. And some other semiconductors like SiGe. No? SiGe, ano yun? Silicon germanium. No? Silicon germanium. Baka kala nyo, SiGe, ha? Tunay yun. Silicon germanium. Okay? And some other semiconductor devices mostly are 3-5. For example, indium phosphide. Yung mga ganyan. Gallium nitride. Okay? 3-5 semiconductors. Okay? So, yun. Ulit, anong meron sa transit time noise? Yan yung noise na present kapag mataas ang frequency. At dahil no choice tayo, kung hindi gumamit ng mataas na frequency, para hindi masyadong severe yung transit time noise, gumagamit tayo ng semiconductor materials na mataas ang electron mobility. Nang sa gayon, mas mabilis mag-travel yung electron at magkakaroon ngayon ng difference. At tawag doon ay magkakaroon ng considerable difference sa pagitan ng transit time at ng period ng signal. Okay? Huwag nyo na basahin yan. Na-explain ko na. So, ang ibang tawag dyan, high frequency noise. No? High frequency noise. Okay, next is the flicker noise. Kung ang transit time ay pang high frequency, ito namang flicker noise, pang low frequency yan. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Ibig sabihin, kapag microwave region or microwave frequencies ang ginagamit, negligible yan. Hindi natin yan pinag-uusapan. Hindi kasali yan sa equation. Okay? Pero pag mababa ang frequency, doon siya siglang-sigla. No? However, due to the nature of frequency na ginagamit natin for communication, which is normally mataas, alam naman gumamit ka ng 2 millihertz, 5 hertz, di ba? In communication systems, we use kilohertz up to gigahertz. That's why a flicker noise is not much of a problem. Kasi nga po, ito ay nagiging dominant lang kapag mababa ang frequency. Ano po? So, ang naapektuhan niyan ay di audio. No? Kasi yung mababang frequency, audio frequency. So, it's proportional to the emitter current and the junction temperature. This is inversely proportional to the frequency. It becomes negligible, beyond 500 Hz. So, audio nga. Yung part ng audio below 500 Hz, ang naapektuhan ng flicker noise na tinatawag din na pink noise. Yes. Bakit pink? Ganito ang istorya, no? Dapat kasi red, no? However, ang kulay pink ay malapit na sa kulay red. Bakit naman red? Kasi ang red, sa lahat ng kulay, pinakamababa ang wavelength. Pinakamataas ang wavelength. And therefore, pinakamababa ang frequency. Diba? Mahaba ang wavelength ng red, no? Mahaba ang wavelength ng red, maliit ang frequency. Parang itong noise na ito, ang tinatarget niya yung mababang frequency. Sir, ba't hindi mo na tinawag na red noise? Tinawag pang pink noise. Kasi may ibang red noise na, kumbaga. There is already a noise called red noise prior to the quantification of this flicker noise. Other types of noise, partition noise. Random fluctuations in current when it divides between electrodes. Burst noise. Low frequency noise that occurs in transistors. Tinatawag din na popcorn noise. Diyos ko po, nakakagutom ito. Nagbo-burst na parang popcorn. Avalanche. Diyos ko, lalong nakakagutom. Avalanche. Ay, dinner na. Yung avalanche, di ba sa isang diode, yung avalanche ay ang biglaang pagko-conduct ng isang diode kung siya ay naka-reverse bias due to avalanche effect. Tayo magsagot para malaman natin kung kayo may naintindihan sa ating mga diniscuss. Ano daw type ng noise yung nagiging insignificant at frequencies above 30 MHz? Ano daw type ng noise ang nagiging insignificant at frequencies above 30 MHz? Yes, Alexa?
Industrial noise po.
Industrial noise. Mali. Ang sagot, static noise. Static noise. Anong ibang tawag sa static noise? Atmospheric noise. Diba? Atmospheric. Which noise accounts for the majority of the internal noise that degrades a signal in the receiver? Sino mga nag-type ng sagot? Tingnan natin kung may nagpa-participate sa chat box. The correct answer is letter. Di ba nabanggit ko na yan sa inyo? Yung pinakamahalagang internal noise, pinakamaraming nakukontribute niyang noise, ano yun? Di ba thermal noise? Ano ba ibang tawag sa thermal noise?
Random po.
Yes, that's why the answer is letter D. Random noise. Okay? Salamat po sa lahat ng nag-participate. Next question. For 1 million pesos. Nag-game ka na ba? Which noise consists of sudden bursts of irregularly shaped pulses that occurs at very short duration and can have devastating effect on data circuits? Okay. Typing your answers now. Anong oras na tayo nag-start? 5:43? So, mga 5:43 people. Anong sagot ni Gab? Ngayon ba to kanina pa? Maraming sagot ay letter D. May letter A. May letter A. Letter D, may C. Pinakamaraming sagot ay letter D. Impulse noise. Meron namang letter C. Merong letter A. Ang tamang sagot ay letter D. Impulse noise. No? So, tandaan nyo ang keyword. Sudden bursts. Sir, kaya nga sagot kay burst noise kasi may burst? No. Ang keyword ay very short duration. Kaya impulse. No? Impulse. Very short duration. Sudden burst of irregular shape pulse that occurs at very short duration. Okay. Impulse noise ang sagot. Okay, next. What do you call the types of noise which are present only when there is a signal? Ang daming sagot. Letter A. Tama. Letter A. Di ba? Sunod na tanong, ano kayang letter ang magbabago ang kulay? Hulaan nyo ang sunod na kulay na gagamitin ko para ipakita ang tamang sagot. Huwag nyo muna pansinin yung tanong, yun muna kulay. Pink. Napaka-gay. Ano kayang kulay ang sunod kong gagamitin para ipakita ang tamang sagot? Black. Blue? Hindi makita. Black ang background. Ibig mo sabihin kung alin ang mawawala, nga naman pwede rin. Pag black, di yung mawawala, yun ang tamang sagot. Yellow, green. Yung isa, purple. Napakagay talaga itong si Eric Piel. Sige, malalaman nyo rin. Ano na kaya ang tamang sagot? No? Pili na kayo ng tamang sagot. Ang keyword ay nonlinear amplification. Ang tamang sagot ay all of the above. Actually, dapat ang sagot lang ay A at B. Pero kung A at B lang, hindi na pwedeng dalawang sagot. Dapat isa lang. Kaya isinama mo na yung letter D. Diba yung amplitude at harmonic, iisa yun? So all of the above. So ang tamang kulay, dilaw pa rin. Kasi ako ay isang dalawa. Next. Which of the following statements is true? Random noise power is inversely proportional to the bandwidth. Or flicker is sometimes called demodulation noise. Parang wala nga ako nabanggit na demodulation noise mula kanina eh. Diba? Noise in mixers is caused by inadequate image frequency. Ano yun? Letter D. A random voltage across a resistance cannot be measured. Cannot be measured. Alin kaya ang tama? Inversely proportional ba ang random noise sa bandwidth? No. Rather, directly proportional, di ba? Yes. So, mali na yung A. Mali yung A. May nabanggit ba ako kaninang flicker noise na demodulation noise? May nabanggit ako? Wala. So, malamang mali din yung B. Guys, ganyan lang magsagot. Ha? Ganyan lang magsagot. Okay? So, dadalawa na ang pamimilian mo. Pag hindi mo alam ang sagot, maghanap ka ng mali. Okay? Ang tawag doon, elimination method. Okay? Ngayon, alin daw ang tama? Letter C o letter D? Ano sabi ng letter C? Noise in mixers is caused by inadequate image frequency rejection. Letter D. A random voltage across a resistance cannot be calculated. Hindi mo ba makakompute? Can we not compute the voltage? Or can we?
We can compute po.
Yes. So that means letter D is not the correct answer. So ano ang tamang sagot? Di ba? Kung gumagamit ka lang ng common sense mo, kahit hindi mo alam ang sagot, malalaman mo. Okay? Maghanap ka lang ng mali para malaman mo kung ano ang tama. So may natutunan tayo dito, yun daw palang noise sa mga mixer ay dahilan saan? Inadequate image frequency rejection. Okay? Ang nagdedetermine ng selectivity ng circuit ay ang IF stage. At ang mixer ay nasa IF stage. Now I know the reason. Ngayon, naunawaan ko na kung bakit. Diba? Napagtagni-tagni ko siya is connecting the dots. Parang ibabangga mo. Ano yung alam mo na? At ano yung kinakasagupa mong concept ngayon? O di pagbanggain natin. Ang alam ko kasi, yung selectivity, nade-determine yan ng intermediate frequency stage. No? And that selectivity has something to do with image frequency rejection. Kung mababa ang selectivity mo, more likely magkaroon ka ng image frequency. Ang nagde-determine nun ay yung IF stage. Nagkataon, yung mixer na sa IF stage yun. Ganun po iyon. Di ba sinabi ko sa inyo, ang sensitivity ng circuit, ang nagdetermine yan yung front end, yung unang stage, after the antenna, which is the RF amplifier stage. Yun yung front end. After ng RF, may tinatawag na IF. Nagkakaroon tinatawag na down conversion. For example, the frequency received is several hundreds of megahertz. It will be down converted to several megahertz na lamang via the mixer. At the output of the mixer, there is what you call the IF. Ano yung IF? Intermediate frequency. So ulitin natin, anong natutunan natin dito sa tanong na ito? Yung down noise sa mga mixer dahil saan? Inadequate image frequency rejection. Ang sunod nating topic is magdi-discuss tayo ng isang system, i-analyze natin kung gaano karaming noise ang kanyang napoproduce. At dyan papasok ang iba't ibang metrics sa pag-evaluate ng performance ng system. Dyan natin matutunan kung paano mag-compute ng signal-to-noise ratio, noise factor, noise figure, noise temperature, noise resistance. Okay? So these are the things that we will be studying next week. But, of course, before the topic, next week, we have a quiz about dB calculations. So, sir, kasama na doon yung thermal noise? Yes, kasama na po doon. Yung nabanggit kong mga computation kanina at na-discuss na kasama na po doon. Okay?